uppercut, leave you laid out on the floor. Try to duck and roll, hit and miss, now you counting stars. Should've practiced more, should've hit the mask, get out there more. Claim that you're the best. You gotta show me, son, actions over words, baby boy, is you real or what? Talking way too much, world come back sports, talking way too much, world come back sports, talking way too much, world come back
Who would I be if I didn't give the biggest shout out to the hottest chat in the MFing game? A-side official. No negotiation needed, period. Salute the mic being on deck. First in the building. What's good with it, man? I see you. Salute to everybody else that's on their way. You get in here, hit the like button. I appreciate it. I just want to take this time, since we're getting closer, right, to remind people on what we should be reflecting on. I know it's not that much to talk about in the media. But it's up to me to not allow you to forget what this year's celebration has been for those who made the right choice. That choice being the side of Terrence Bud Crawford stepping into the ring last year of 2023. I'm talking about the true diehard Bud Crawford fans who believe he is the best fighter in the sport. Who am I if I don't come over here and remind you all of the events that took place and how it changed the scope of boxing? It changed the scope of boxing. So what I want to do right now is let you know that we need a moment of silence so we can do the 49-day countdown. Please, no need to bow your heads. Keep your eyes open. And if you have something close by, you know what I'm saying, that you can salivate on, such as a fish fry, something like that, grab it. Enjoy yourself. Let's have this countdown to reflect upon the banished Errol Spence fan base before they went extinct. Now that the 49-day countdown has expired, I want to take you on this journey, right? It's been a good one. It's been an absolutely good one, because what we're hearing that's about to take place in 2024 is absolutely amazing. But shall we go down memory lane just a bit, because I think it's imperative that we reflect upon that time. The reason being, I find it as therapy to remind those who have since buried themselves and secluded themselves, ostracized themselves in the bunkers following their demise last year, leading up to the fight and on fight night and after fight night. That day being the infamous July 29th, 2023. Yes, it's up to me to be a voice. You know what I'm saying? For those aerosexuals who are still out there buried, peeking out from beneath the bunker, I say to you, stay where you at. Don't come up just yet. To the Bud Crawford fans, I want to remind you that we are approaching the 1-year anniversary. An anniversary that I have submitted that we partake in an annual fish fry celebration in remembrance of when Terrence Crawford slaughtered, filleted, and the fish was passed out globally to the boxing fans, because it was said that you can't catch Moby Dick with a hook. But we found that not to be true, because once Bomac told him to turn that jab into a hook, yes, that hook absolutely did the job. Yes, he said turn that jab into a hook. Now it's time to turn that jab into a hook. Do y'all remember like I remember? Do y'all remember like I remember all the back and forth exchanges of who's gonna do what? Do y'all remember that? Do y'all remember all the chaos and all the wolf tickets that was being sold by the Errol Spence fans? Do y'all remember? Do y'all remember how sour they were when they was crying every single day about Bud think he this, Bud think he that, everybody on Bud resume Spence can beat, and blah blah blah? We heard it all before. That goddamn life cycle of misery, boy, we just couldn't wait till the opening bell. And in the midst of that opening bell, we found out there was some concessions, y'all. Who in their right mind would have a meeting where you allow Crawford to not only prognosticate, but to bring it to fruition, when he said, when I beat him, they're gonna say he was in the division too long? Crawford prognosticated that he was going to stop Errol Spence. And being that Errol Spence was weighing about, I would say 193 and a half pounds, right? With a red hoodie on, he couldn't fathom the smaller guy. Crawford wasn't small in a way that he wasn't supposed to be in the 147-pound division. He was small to Spence because in between fights, he wasn't allowing himself to consume a high calorie intake that many people may look at him and say, "Oh man, you looking quite chubby there, champ. You're looking a bit chubby. You're looking a little out of shape. You're looking like you're not you're not in the gym in between." No, you're talking about a disciplinarian that hold himself accountable first, y'all. Yes, I remember. I remember that fateful day when Spence was looking all big and bulky, and he said, "On God, you ain't gonna stop me." Didn't he say that, people? Isn't that what you heard him say? He said, "On God." He said, "On God, y'all." Am I right or wrong? He said, "On God." Seriously. Let's revisit that moment, shall we? Hold on for a split second. Let's revisit. Now, of course, y'all, I want to play the audio. Why? Because you have individuals out here who I consider to be typers. You know what I'm saying? These typers, all they do is submit anonymous paperwork when they feel some type of way about, you know what I'm saying, what you're saying, or if you use their content and they don't pretty much, they don't like you, so to speak, for whatever reason. They feel hurt. But let's listen to this audio. It was absolutely memorable, y'all, when it comes to the sport of boxing. Memorable. Let's get down to it.
It's mandatory. I don't think he had to take the
So,
fight.
Eric, I see the whole gang is here today. Who's here? Introduce us. Who's with us right now?
You know what I'm saying? This is my dude, Sarge. You know what I'm saying?
Sarge, of course, he helps me out with the video
OG
sometimes.
Sarge, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying?
There.
That's, you know, little man right there. The little man right there. You know what I'm saying?
Terrence, will you guys have a fight?
Yeah, we'll fight. We're too small.
You with Earl? You know how much
I don't know how much I weigh.
fat, nigga. That's what you is.
I'm not fat.
Did you hear what Crawford said? Crawford said, "You fat," and he used the N-word. Now, being that I'm black, I am authorized and approved and officially, you know what I'm saying, I am permitted to utilize that word, okay? He said, "You fat, nigga." He said the real, "You fat, nigga." You know what I'm saying? Crawford happened to be passing by Spence, and he recognized that he was there. He walked up over there, and he looked down at Spence's midsection. That would be the abdominal region. And he noticed that even though he had on a sweat top, it was a reason for that, because he was baking the bread in the oven. You feel me? Let's get back to this infamous moment.
Fat.
I'm not fat, muscle.
That's fat.
It don't matter.
Yeah.
Hey, it don't matter. It don't matter.
Grab it again,
Hey,
son. Grab it
How I
again.
look at the weigh-in, though?
Grab it again.
How I look at the weigh-in, though?
We talking about now.
How I look at the weigh-in,
But you
though?
talking about how
But
big
how I
you
look
is.
at the weigh-in,
It's
though?
fat.
But how I look at the
Grab
weigh-in?
that.
How I look at the weigh-in?
Yeah.
I guarantee I'm gonna crush you.
Grab that.
Okay, let me ask you a question.
Grab that.
Smack you when you fight.
Don't try to go to the body.
Why you talking from the side, bro?
Don't try to.
Can y'all hear the audio good? Because pretty much, you know, once they was going back and forth about the fat, and Spencer trying to convince Crawford that how is it at the weigh-in? Is he shredded or not? He should have said if it was in Texas or outside of Texas, you know what I'm saying? But we know in Texas, you know, a home fight, he's gonna be super shredded. Can y'all hear the audio of the video well? You know what I'm saying? Are y'all good? Put a Y or N, please. I appreciate you. Yankee or November. Yankee or November. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Caps in Full G in the building. Shout out to OG Mr. Golden. Toby on deck. Stickin' Boys Fishing and Sports in the building. Is the audio good when I play this video? Okay, cool. Let's get back to this, man, because this is one of the most infamous, you know, encounters that Spence and Crawford had. Both undefeated fighters, both pound for pound boxers, professional level. You know what I'm saying? Come on, man. Both multi-time world champions. This was one of the most infamous meetings that you can have between two fighters who have been spoken about so many times. And we thought this fight was just going to be something that people talked about in sidebar conversations and in private. And, you know what I'm saying, just talk at barbershops and shit. But it ended up happening, y'all. Let's get back to it.
Don't try that.
You got nothing to do with this. You got nothing to do with this.
Don't try that.
You got nothing to do with
Hey,
this.
look.
You talking too much.
Tell him
You talking too much.
do that little.
You talking too much, man. You talking too much, bro. Okay, we tell them around. Ain't nobody talking from the side.
But you
Why you gotta talk?
But
Ain't
you
nobody
talking
talking from the side. Why you gotta talk?
Well, talk to me.
It don't matter.
Talk to him.
But tell your
Talk to
nigga to be
me.
quiet.
Talk to me.
But
Don't
tell your
talk to
nigga
him.
to be quiet.
Talk to me.
Tell your nigga to be
Talk
quiet.
to me.
Tell your nigga to be
All right,
quiet.
now you talking to me.
Tell your nigga to be
Back
quiet.
to what we was talking about.
Whatever.
Try that body
It
shot
don't matter.
shit.
I'm gonna stop you. Easy. It's gonna stop you. Easy. That shit gonna be easy
Hey,
work.
I'm
I
solid.
promise you.
I'm
It don't
solid as
matter.
a
I'm
rock.
gonna knock you out, bro.
Oh,
You
that-
been hurt.
that's fact.
You got hurt by Gamboa.
That's fact.
You got hurt by Gamboa.
did.
Yeah.
You got hurt by
And what type of
Ocampo.
shooting
You got hurt by
What have I
Ocampo.
got hurt?
As you remember, Spence said, no side talking. You know what I'm saying? He wasn't focused then, and he wasn't focused when he entered the ring, obviously. And the whole entire fight camp, we don't know what he was focused on. Did he make every training session on time? But we do know at this point in time, he was more focused on one of Crawford's circle instead of focus on Crawford. Then Crawford redirected him and say, now you're talking to me. Talk to me. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Not punking out one of the people that's in my circle. Talk to me. So he goes on to say, you was hurt by Gamboa. And Crawford confirmed that. And he said, you was hurt by Cambosis. Now, I remember saying this back in the day because the fight lasted such a short period of time. I said that Spence was hurt by Ocampo, rather. Ocampo. And people, I guess they didn't see it. I was actually at the fight, but I guess they didn't see how he was hurt by Ocampo. But anyway, that fight has since moved on, right? The Gamboa situation with Crawford is one of those mythological fights that still come up in the conversation because that was something they used. They used that point of reference so loosely leading up to July 29th. Did they not? That's all they talked about. And I told you, Gamboa was, at one point in time, he was happy because he said, hey, Papi, I don't know why they talk and speak on me. I'm on the beach. I'm chilling, Gamboa didn't want to hear that shit. But that's all they brought. Gamboa. They never brought up how Crawford had hurt him previously and what happened after that situation when they had that fight. And then when it comes to, Errol Spence and, just basically bringing that up, he was misleading his fans to talk about Gamboa. The fight at that time was like 7 years past. You know what I'm saying? It was so old. It was so extinct. It was like looking for fossils, man. Gamboa, totally different weight division. He was in 47 and Gamboa was fighting back at 35, wasn't he? I mean, it's crazy. Let's get back to the audio, though.
Hurt by Gamboa.
And you got hurt by Kell
Pull that
Brook.
up. Pull
And
that
you
up.
got hurt by Kell Brook.
When? We seen you get wobbly leg. We seen you get wobbly
But then
leg.
what?
We seen you get
After that.
It don't matter.
After that.
So Spence is talking about, we seen you get wobbly legs. And, Crawford reminds him that he was hurt by Kell Brook. And at this point in time, the prognosis for Spence was a disease called being delusional, because himself, he had tunnel vision. He had the fog of war. He didn't see Terrence Crawford as a big threat. You know what I'm saying? Based off who he had fought. And even that he was undefeated at the 147-pound division, Spence felt like he had fought the better competition, and no one on Spence's 147-pound roster gave him any concern.
Wait till I hit you.
Sorry.
You gonna look like Benavidez. You.
Yeah, one leg.
You gonna look like him with one leg.
Yeah, one leg. I'm
Wow. Crawford. I cannot say this enough. I don't know if he had a rosary in his pocket. I don't know, bro. But he said, you're going to look like Benavidez. Was Crawford not spot on in his prognosticated prescription that he was giving Errol Spence? Come on, man. This is legendary, bro. For the amount of time that it took for this fight to happen and to pretty much get this encounter and to hear Crawford say what he was saying. Hold on for a second, y'all. Let's get back to this. Let's get back to this. I just look at this encounter, right? And I'm saying to myself, how can he know that? You know what I'm saying, how can he bring that up? Did y'all hear what he brought up? Let's go back to it so you can hear it.
You gonna look like Benavidez.
He said you're gonna look like Benavidez, bro. If this is not one of the best predictions ever in the sport of boxing, why did he pick Errol Spence to be in the same position as Benavidez without ever sparring him and without ever stepping through the ropes to fight for anything? They haven't had any type of sharing of the square at all. You can't take them back to the Olympics. You can't take them to the professional ranks where they squared off. You can't do any of that. He, out of all the people he has fought at 147 pounds, he say you are gonna look like Benavidez, y'all. And though Crawford wasn't exactly right, he was spot on. The reason why I say he wasn't exactly right, because Benavidez went down in the 12th round. Errol Spence never made it to the 12th round. And Benavidez was knocked down once. And you know, the fight was called off when he couldn't recover and all that. But at the end of the day, Spence was knocked down multiple times more than Benavidez and looked worse. Let's get back to it, though.
He had one leg.
You gonna look like
He had
that
one
with one
leg.
leg.
He had one leg.
I'm gonna make you
one
do the
leg.
stanky leg.
What you want to bet on that?
What you want to bet
You
on?
can bet 100,000 on that.
Now, if you hear Spence limped in with a measly fanny pack of 100 grand. And as you will hear, Crawford showed us that he was thinking of higher grounds. You know what I'm saying? He wasn't on that level. He felt that, hey, why don't we bet $1 million? That means he raised Errol Spence outside of the poker table. He raised him 900 grand. Unbelievable.
Bet $1 million.
Easy.
Let's bet $1
We can bet
million.
$1
You getting that
Easy.
money, right?
Easy. We can bet $1 million easy. What are you talking about?
There we go.
We're talking crazy.
Hey,
Y'all ready to move around?
hey, this nigga still.
Can I get a picture with y'all?
You can't get a picture of both of us.
This nigga still owe me a one-on-one.
You can't get a picture of both of us.
He still owe me my one-on-one.
Yeah, best
He still owe me my one-on-one.
Easy work.
Bob, we're making a fight happen. Can I get 10%?
Bob, no. First of all, Bob said he said Al don't exist. So how you gonna make the fight happen? Al don't exist. He said Al does not exist.
Why?
You said it in the article. You said Al doesn't exist.
I said why?
You
Al
said
Heyman doesn't
you
exist.
said Sam made up a fictional character and the fight Sean Porter, Keith Thurman,
So he didn't mention Terrence, huh?
He didn't.
This will be another time where this encounter is just so important to put in the boxing annals. You know those archives that you always bring up when you want to have a good conversation about those memorable fights. This would be it too, because pretty much, Errol Spence let it be known that PBC never wanted this fight. They didn't mention Crawford of the names that was next in line to fight Spence. They was mentioning Sean Porter, Manny Pacquiao, and all those names. I guess Crawford didn't sell enough at the time, but they knew he was a dangerous man. They knew he was dangerous. And even Spence was making excuses, talking about, Bob said that Al Heyman didn't exist. We know there was contentiousness between them two, but at the end of the day, right? At the end of the day, a lot of what Crawford said in this encounter, a lot of what Errol Spence, it leave question marks, man. How could Crawford be so spot on? And how could Spence pretty much expose the absolute truth and nothing but the truth on where they wanted to go other than stepping in the ring with Crawford? The fight, they didn't want the fight back then, but let's keep it moving though.
I just got to call him up and show him this.
Oh, he got his number.
Well, let me
He
tell
got his
you.
number. I ain't got no offers for y'all.
The smartest thing you can do is to stay away from Terrence.
The Triple OG didn't say that, did he? Triple OB. I should call him a Triple OB. Bob Arum did not say that, did he? He said the smartest thing you can do is stay away from Crawford, man. But most of the time when you hear debates going on, they just mention that Bob said he lost enough money to buy a house in Beverly Hills. Yes, he was feeling some type of way. But at this moment right here, y'all, how special is that? Come on, Bob is 90 years old now. But look how sharp and bladed his mind was to tell Spence to his face, the smartest thing you can do is stay away from Crawford. He wasn't just talking to freaking Spence. He was talking to all the aerosexuals, man. Bob Arum attempted to tell you all, the ones who was talking about Top Rank was a plantation, he attempted to warn you all, man. He sent up I don't know how many flares. He paid for blimps, hot air balloons. He paid for all the panoptic freaking advertisement, and y'all didn't pay attention. Y'all didn't want to look up there, man. Let's keep moving.
That's the smartest thing.
You're a legendary promoter. I like that. You're a legendary promoter. I like that. I like that. You're best in the business. I like
Been
that.
around this long.
You're a legendary promoter. I like that.
So
I
he
like
know
that.
fight.
I like that.
He like you
You already
though.
know. I know he like me.
He like you
He
though.
trying to sign me.
Yeah, he like you. Why not?
He trying to sign me.
Bob, how big is this fight if it happens?
We don't know. We're all friends. We're in business. There it is. We're all.
No, he know I'm gonna do to him. He should
No, he
do.
don't. No, he don't.
He knows.
Stop that.
Cause he kept saying
Stop
it.
that.
Like now he's trying to make the beginning, but
Smack.
But a couple months ago he said, what he say? It's gonna happen.
Hey.
End of 2019.
Hey,
Did he not
fuck
say that?
all that.
Did he not
What-
say that? That's
this,
what your promoter
This
said.
is what I'm saying.
I read it all.
This
That's
is
what
what
your
I'm
promoter
saying.
said.
This is what I read it all too.
That's what your promoter
Terrence
said.
Crawford, wait till he get a belt.
Yeah.
He ain't did nothing.
Crawford is about to take you down a small little trail, little short trail. You know what I'm saying? Take you past some flower beds. You know what I'm saying? To the Garden of Eve. Because this right here, you all, God had to be in the room. But the only person that wasn't listening to the message that God was putting out there was Errol Spence. Errol Spence wasn't listening. You know what I'm saying? He wasn't freaking listening. He wasn't listening.
Nothing in the welterweight to do.
You
When
have
he get
did
a belt,
nothing.
when he
You
get a
have
belt,
did
you want to
You
go
have
over
did
there. Keith Thurman want to go over there, and now y'all want to say, "Oh, I ain't fought nobody," but I got a belt now, so
Okay.
why?
Okay. Sean Porter got a belt too.
So now
Sean
this-
Porter got a belt too. Sean Porter.
So this is when Errol Spence says Sean Porter has a belt. And clearly he wanted to fight Sean Porter for his WBC belt that he had beat Danny Garcia for the vacant at the time, and which Sean Porter became two-time welterweight world champion. So, you know, Errol Spence wanted to go the route of Sean Porter. So for those sophisticated freaking brain dead aerosexuals, right? You have to look at this. The signs was already out there when you all try to attempt to say Bud Crawford was ducking. That's not the case. You know what I'm saying? That's not the case at all. You know, they had other plans for Errol Spence to do all the heavy lifting, to basically be the welterweight lift driver, because they sent him to those freaking calls. You know what I'm saying? They wanted him to lift those belts up. That's why they didn't want him to go over there to Crawford prior to him fighting a Sean Porter, and determined to be Yadinas Ugas, who had the belt, the WBA World Championship. They chose to go that route, and that's the route they took. But we're gonna get down to where they absolutely lost it. It was a huge oversight on their part.
So why would I go to the easy road and knock Sean Porter out? Why wouldn't I? Why wouldn't I? Why wouldn't I?
He said, why wouldn't I go the easy route and knock Sean Porter out? Is that not ducking Bud Crawford at the time? Yes, it was ducking. He did not have confidence to fight Terrence Crawford first and then go get the belt from Sean Porter and Yadinas Ugas and finish up the welterweight undisputed. He didn't have confidence. All along, they knew how dangerous and lethal of a fighter that Bud Crawford was, so they never wanted to venture into that territory until they picked up the 3 belts. But ultimately, that was just unneeded stress on Spence, because no matter what belt he picked up, everybody, to include WCS, reminded him that if you was going to be undisputed in the welterweight division, the 4th and final belt that you had to pick up was in ownership and possession of Terrence Bud Crawford. That's a fact.
You a smart man, but not that smart.
Bro, I'm gonna crush you. I promise you.
Show up,
Let's run it, man.
Everybody have a Merry Christmas.
Everybody have a Merry Christmas on Thanksgiving. You really gonna have a Thanksgiving. Hey, look. All right, man. All right,
By the way, Bob, what do you think of him and Mikey?
He said it wasn't gonna happen.
What is next for Terry?
I am the boogeyman. I am the boogeyman. I am the boogeyman.
No.
I'm the
He can't be the boogeyman if I'm chasing him.
I'm the dog of the division. I'm the boogeyman.
You can't be.
At this time, Errol Spence was trying to have some departing words. He's pretty much, I heard this float around before back then. Spence said that he was a boogeyman of the division. You know what I'm saying? And Crawford said, once again, how can you be the boogeyman if I'm chasing you? The boogeyman is saying pretty much that people are staying far away. They do not want to walk up to Spence for any type of challenge. But that wasn't the case with Terrence Crawford, because he was doing just the opposite of what the impression that the boogeyman would have on anybody that could find him to be quite scary. And that wasn't the case with Crawford.
Everybody know. I'm that guy. Everyone know I'm that guy.
You're not that guy.
I'm that guy.
Numbers don't lie, and I'm the number.
I'm that guy. You not the number guy.
Numbers don't lie.
You signed for 3.5 fight. I've been getting that.
Everybody got ESPN. You can't do that.
What?
Everybody got ESPN.
It don't matter.
Terry, who's the better basketball player?
Me. Anything about him is me.
Don't start that shit up. You can ask Bronner who the best basketball player.
And I killed him for the bread.
You can ask Bronner who the best basketball player. Ask, you can
Come and fight that, you know what I mean? Come and fight that.
Packing 10,000. Come on.
No, we not.
We're not going on.
Bob, this is good stuff.
Hey, look, I
We go to
didn't.
Vegas.
Hey, look.
We go to Vegas. We go neutral.
We can go to there. Vegas or New York.
And then when I stop, they're gonna say he's too small.
Hey, so when I stop him, y'all gonna say he was too weak.
All my
and,
life.
And he stayed at 147.
You would not stop
too long.
me. You would not stop me.
Okay.
Crazy.
That moment right there was the lighthouse of the entire conversation. It's what you see from afar, y'all. Even when they speak about it today, it shines and it's just there beaming like a lighthouse. Real talk. It's just like a lighthouse. Every time the conversation come up, what Crawford said. Come on, man. He said, when I beat him, they'll say he was too weak. You know what I'm saying? How much prognosticated predictions that he get right heading into this? He already had points going into this fight. From this meeting alone, he was probably up three rounds on the scorecards out of a 12-round showcase anyway.
Crazy. Christian's been smoking on. Ask Jamel who the hardest been hit by.
Hey, look, every person that you name, ask him what I done did to him.
Ask who the hardest been hit by.
It don't matter. If you drop them and I drop them, what that mean? They both got dropped.
Ask who the hardest been hit by.
They
Nobody
don't know.
ever said you hit hard.
They don't know.
Nobody ever said
If
you
you
hit
drop
hard
them
like
and I drop somebody, they don't.
Nobody ever said you hit hard like this.
I don't know.
Ask anybody. Jamel talk anybody.
Ask anybody.
Excuse
I
me,
hit like
sir.
160.
Excuse, you still ain't answered that question.
I hit like a heavyweight.
You still ain't answered that question.
Y'all drop.
When can I get in the ring? When can I get in the ring? You still ain't answered that question.
Then you have entourage.
Oh, yeah.
You gonna crush them too?
Oh, man.
God damn.
How much is that chain?
Hey,
That's why I'm gonna cut it short. I think you all heard enough. And what I was trying to do is pretty much, provide you all, with that bookmark. I want to reopen the book and bring you to that bookmark and let you know that this did occur, y'all. This has a lot to do with that meeting, the infamous July 29th T-Mobile massacre. Yes, that was somewhat of an appetizer. Yes, indeed, man. Real talk. That, my friends, was one of those, what are they, those chance meetings, man, that was really a gift from God, the boxing gods, the pantheon of boxing. That's what that meeting was about. Because see, even the boxing gods was trying to spread the message. They was trying to tell the aerosexuals of what was going to happen when Crawford said, when they say that, when I beat him, he was too weak in the division and all that. Man, come on. Was that not spot on? Is that not what the aerosexuals still had? And they was burping up. They had reflux after this because they'd sit up here and they was so hyped up, just eating it up. And they were saying, dang, this don't sit right with me. I got heartburn. This shit, oh man, I got heartburn from this shit. What is going on? Oh my God. All I'm doing is having a boxing debate and bringing up, what Crawford said. And it just don't sit right. Yeah, it was never meant to sit right. It was never meant to be digested the way you thought. All he was doing is just setting the table for you aerosexuals. That's all he was doing. You didn't want to pay attention. The boxing gods put the message out there for you. He put the message out there for you. You was just too stubborn, man, to pay attention. He said, when I stop you, they'll say he was too drained and he come up with all these excuses. And Spence said, on God, you're not going to stop me. I guess he knew there were gods in the building, but not the type of gods that he thought. Those gods was down on the same level here on earth as we are. Those gods couldn't change what the outcome was going to be. They didn't have enough power to do so. You know what I'm saying? They didn't have enough power there, Spence. You know what I'm saying? And also the message that was being given was for Spence to pass it on to his fan base, to properly prepare them for the rapture. Because that is exactly what happened to his entire fan base. They disappeared. His fan base disappeared. When we was able to finally lock in, see the press conference, right? You know what I'm saying? See the press conference, see both fighters face off for the first time. It was great, man. Everybody was like getting all hype. Man, you know what I'm saying? They was feeling good. Finally. 2023, we get to see the fight of all fights. People put money upon money, stack money on top for this fight. People was betting all the items that they felt that had any value to them if they was an aerosexual. Crawford fans, yeah, we was betting with the understanding, knowing that we was going to come out on top. There's no way that we was going to lose. That was our mentality. But lo and behold, y'all, If that was ever a disaster, if there was ever a disaster that sparked outrage, this was it. This was it. The aerosexuals could not call amongst the demigods. They was out for lunch. And that was purposely done. They knew what was in store. They saw the cloud cover. They saw the storm rolling in. They heard it, goddammit. They heard it. As much as I was talking about it, I put it out there. They just didn't want to listen because it's all about views. I don't listen to him. Don't listen to him. He don't have enough views for us to pay attention. I put it out there. I said he has 0 chance of beating Crawford. 0% chance. The value doesn't change, okay? 0 plus 0, it doesn't provide you any value higher than 0. Spence himself believed from hearing Crawford's words, he didn't find it to be valid. You know what I'm saying? The reason why he didn't find it to be valid because he didn't respect who Crawford was to a higher degree. In the art of war, they tell you never to underestimate anyone, any adversary. And I think, you know, with Crawford, him and the mad scientist, Bomac, they went in there with that and saying, hey, we're going to train like this. He is the boogeyman. We're going to train like that. But for Errol Spence, they was training as if, okay, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. He never fought anybody that I fought. And when I fought him, he felt that Kell Brook was, you know, the best that he possibly be coming down 2 weight divisions. He was in denial. And then he goes over here. And when Crawford fights Sean Porter, he said his daddy. And when Mike Tyson shut that down, we knew it was over for Spence. Because Mike Tyson Mike laughed in his face. He said, come on, man, come on. At the end of the day, man, it's bad sportsmanship. What are you talking about, man? You keep mentioning his father. His father don't have anything to do with this. Sean Porter, he got beat fair and square. My friend Crawford, he's better than him, man. Come on, EJ, come on. EJ kept on trying to insert that into every freaking discussion, bro. It was doomed. This dude was doomed. All they wanted to do was emancipate WCS because I kept on trying to tell them. I say, you all are in for something special. On the dark side special. Keep it in the hot grease special. Too long without even paying attention, doing other things special. Hey, this fish got overcooked. What Crawford did to Spence will always be remembered. No matter if you have the conversation on a Friday, Tuesday, Thursday, you're still going to get the same response. You're going to still get the shock and awe. You feel me? You're still going to have people talk about it as if, well, I'll take that back. If it's depending on what side they was on. If they're aerosexuals, then they're going to come up here and they're going to try to make up some shit that don't make sense. You know what I'm saying? They're going to try to bring up personal stuff that they had going on in their lives. They was new to YouTube, you know, and you know, it's a lot of stuff that was going on. They was trying to make ends meet, and you know what I'm saying? It was hot outside, and you know, COVID. They were still suffering the side effects of getting their COVID shot, and I mean, I'm telling you, it's just going to be a whole lot of microcosms that these aerosexuals are going to talk about. But as you're looking at the thumbnail, people, we're 49 days out from the 1-year anniversary. And what I asked of you all is to celebrate that day, to celebrate the 1-year anniversary of the infamous T-Mobile massacre, y'all. I want you to have some premium seafood We must reflect upon this at the highest order. You see all the delicacies on this thumbnail. You pick your choice. If you want the catfish or you want the seafood broil where you can get the oysters, the mussels, the crab legs, the lobster tails, the corn, you know what I'm saying, the potatoes, the sausages, you know what I'm saying, all of that together in one. That's if you want to do that. If you want some whiting, some perch, red snapper, that's up to you. If you want to have a plate of fried shrimp, you know what I'm saying? And don't forget the corn on the cob if you are corn on the cob type of person. All I'm saying is if you're reflecting upon this celebration, do it to the best of your ability. You know what I'm saying? July 29th, unfortunately, will be on a Monday. Now, WCS is not suggesting that if you're a hardworking individual, right, that you somehow skip out of Monday, because even though the weekend, this is not a weekend thing. It's just not say, okay, well, we're gonna celebrate the weekend before. I can celebrate. I don't want you all losing your employment. July 29th, 2024 is on a Monday, okay? It is on a Monday, y'all. We're still gonna have fun as if it's the weekend. Real talk. Let me get to the chat right quick. I want to give a big shout out to my guy, Mr. Gumbo, aka Hot Grease, with the $10 super chat, lighting up the tree of life, heading into this 1-year anniversary, man. Shout out to Gumbo, man. He said, WCS, you cold-blooded. You saying Crawford robbed the Lyft driver spent. Hey, man. Hey. You know what I'm saying? I don't call it a robbery. But you know what, Gumbo? All they kept speaking about is how Errol Spence is lifting. So I put it together. I say, you know what? He had to be a part of this. You know what I'm saying? He had to be, because he was driving over here, lift this belt from Porter, driving over there, and finally lift that belt from Ugas. And then he had to pull over to the side of the road. Then he had to say to himself, Al, yes, I had the IBF, WBC, and WBA, but I had to pull over on the side of the road. I'm full of anxiety. So you don't see any other way that we could try to get that WBO belt? You know, I know we use Kell Brook and we use then Sean Porter. Is there any other way? Is there any other way before this negotiation start to take place? You can hear them. I'm breathing hard, Al. Is there any other way? Is there any other fight on the ranking system? Any other fight on the ranking system? Please, Al. Do me that one, man. Do me that one. I'm telling you, Gumbo. He had to pull over on the side of the road and call Al up, bro. He had to see if there was any other options, y'all. Knowing he had to go attempt to collect that WBO strap. He had 3/4 of the world titles in the welterweight division. It seems like quantity would give you a bit more confidence, right? In any other situation, you say, hey, I got 3/4 of these. I got way more than they only got one belt. I got 3/4. What does that say about me? It says that I beat more champions. I've defeated more champions in this division than he has. So, you know what I'm saying? In all likelihood, I consider myself to be the better out of the two. No, that's not the case here. Because Bud Crawford, he was on the radar. But when he was giving off the alarm system, they chose to ignore it. They chose to ignore the alarm and all the flags and all the warning. You know what I'm saying? All the caution signs. Even the trains that was coming by, they was blowing their horn way earlier than they used to when they hit the crossing. They was trying to warn them aerosexuals. They was trying to warn them. They just didn't want to pay attention, bro. Bud got him. But shout out to Mr. Gumbo for that super chat. I appreciate you, brother. Bud got him to focus when the first bell rang, I bet anybody that Errol wants talk back to his daddy Bud anymore. He said his daddy, Sean Porter, messed Errol up. They don't want to talk about that. Hey, man, what Sean Porter did was pretty much provide us with an understanding that Spence wasn't as good as we thought. And what I mean by that is not so much to do with the talent, but he wasn't good enough in maintaining discipline in between fights. He said that he made the Sean Porter fight more difficult than what it was because he had to cut so much weight. How do you get to that weight? By being undisciplined, period. Because one thing we know about Spence, that he can box and he can fight, and he don't have no bitch in him. He's a tough dude. Real talk, he's a tough dude. But when you're not living that lifestyle to maximize your potential to go in there and fight a killer, like Bud Crawford, who's in his 3rd division, 3-division world champion, already undisputed. When he's up here and supposedly supposed to be Spence division, right? He joins you in a division where they said that, hey, Spence was the guy. Spence was the one. Yes, they didn't want to give Crawford any credit because they say his resume, it wasn't anything special to look at. Why should we pay that any mind? All his naysayers were saying, Crawford naysayers, is that everybody on his resume, Errol Spence can beat easily. Well, you know how that turned out. Errol was lucky Sean touched his hand down. Errol was lucky Sean touched his hand down, or that could have been his first loss. Yeah, barely, just Sean. You're talking about a guy who lives the fighter's lifestyle. I mean, look, in the eye of the storm, Errol Spence landed that left hook. In the eye of the storm, Errol Spence did what he's supposed to do and lined him up with the hook, and it landed, and his glove barely touched the canvas. Just like Floyd and Zab Judah. You know what I'm saying? But the referee paid attention to this, of course, and he called it a knockdown. But I'm happy. I'm happy that you know, the fight played out the way it did. That Errol Spence was able to win that. I'm just mad at the aerosexuals once again, because not one aerosexual was able to get or able to send out that transmission to let Spence know, please don't go out here and celebrate because you're unified. Don't do it. You still have 2 belts, man. Chill, bro. Yeah, you're the IBF and the WBC champion. Chill. Don't go out there just yet. You have to get the WBA and you have to get the WBO. The main problem with that, right? The most deceitful part of him going in there and getting, you know, the WBA, because he didn't have any respect for Yordenis Ugas. He felt that, you know what? I'm not really worrying about him because I can go in less than 100% and beat him. I'm not saying that was his mindset before the car accident, because he didn't know he was getting into an accident. But if he said that about Danny Garcia when he was coming off the car accident, right? He definitely felt that way about Yordenis Ugas. Because on the rocks with AO, excuse me, he definitely made a declaration and saying, I knew I can beat him. I didn't have to be 100% or something of that nature, end quote. I knew I can dog walk him and I don't have to be 100%. He was saying that about Danny Garcia. And then that's when his girl said, go ahead, talk that king. Come on, bro. I'm glad she said that. I'm glad she gave him extra incentive to take that fight with Terrence Crawford lightly. You know what I'm saying? Because he went in there and was lit up by Yordenis Ugas. And thanks to Lawrence Cole, he was able to mediate it and felt like, hey, calm down now. Spence is supposed to win this, Ugas. Don't let me DQ you now. for not following my instructions. Calm down. Toby Facts, you can't tell the aerosexuals that. No, you can't tell them nothing, bro. Arnold Brown in the building. Salute to you. I see you in the building. What's good? Yeah, bet $1 million. Who would have thought? Bet $1 million. Spence must not getting that money. See, it was so many telltale signs about that meet. Oh my God. Spence came in with 100 grand. And Crawford said, let's bet $1 million. He said, you getting that money, right? Dang. Errol got beat into a small fry. He was no big fish. Hey man, we gotta have the fish fry. We gotta have the seafood fry. You know, we can even include, the broil. You know what I'm saying? We gotta make this extravagant. Why? Because the memorial, the 1 year anniversary of the T-Mobile Massacre Memorial is worthy of that shit. You have to eat seafood. Sunday and Monday, you have to gorge yourself with seafood to reflect in Chavo on what happened last year on Saturday night in July 29th that changed the scope of boxing. It changed Errol Spence forever. That pretty much banished, erased, omitted, canceled his entire fan base. And must I say this once again, the worst, the absolute worst, it's in its entirety, the most pathetic, pitiful, worthless fan base ever in the sport of boxing. What's the aerosexuals? They busy was talking about his opponent Crawford. They didn't care, and that's why Errol Spence don't pay them any mind, because he know that he has the worst fan base. When they thought when he was up there fighting those opponents outside of Crawford, oh, they was bigging him up. Oh man, yeah. But they was always scared, just like, Errol Spence knew he had to go pick up that 4th belt. He felt some type of way. It was sleepless nights. Yeah, he had an acute case of insomnia. And all he can see and hear is freaking Crawford telling him, hey, when I beat you, they're going to say you was too weak. You stayed in the division too long. When I stop you, on God, you ain't stop. He had that. That shit was replaying in his head. It was crucial, y'all. Errol showed you that Errol wasn't that confident that he was going to win. That's why he said 100,000. But Bud put that pressure on his ass. Yeah, man, he did. He put that pressure on him there, OG. You know what I'm saying? He put that pressure on him all the way to the point where Spence gave that man that same $1 million concession prior to them even splitting the ropes. He had it as a concession to the contractual agreement. And these aerosexuals sit up here and they was mad, man. They was up there chewing on their mouth guard, man, their gum shield. These aerosexuals up here drinking maple syrup. They was torturing themselves, bro. They was doing shit that was out of the ordinary, man. These motherfuckers was sipping on maple syrup. Seriously. They was doing shit, and you're like, what the hell? Y'all good? Hey, y'all good over there? I never seen people freaking taking syrup out the muffin container. Do y'all thought that was Old E? Hen Dog? Crown? Parmesan? What y'all thinking about now? I know y'all might be getting the colors confused now. No. We know what it was. Next, we're going to be consuming silkworms. Yeah, we're just trying something to get our confidence back up. Good luck with those silkworms. Good luck with that. It almost backfired on his ass, too. Togo, you enjoying Turkey Al Sheikh, Riyadh. Appreciate it, man. Yeah, I'm loving Saudi cards. Turkey getting these fights to fight. Turkey's getting the fights done and done fights outside of Saudi now. Well, we also have, potentially, you know, something even better to come from Crawford's fight with Ismail Madrimov. You know what I'm saying? That's a whole nother day and time, but this is just strictly for the fish fry. You know what I'm saying? This is strictly for the 1 year anniversary to help people remember that, yeah, we should absolutely celebrate this to the highest. You know what I'm saying? Don't half step on it. You know what I'm saying? Don't half step on it. What's going on, Skills? Salute to you, brother. I see you on deck. Remember, they tried to say he was already undisputed with the WBA, WBC, and the IBF, just like the old days before the WBO was recognized. Yeah, for real. You know what I'm saying? You're right. Good point. It's a lot in what they was trying to do, period. If they can do and pull off the Lomachenko effect, where they can have Spence up there undefeated, because Lomachenko had that defeat from Orlando Salido, and they did actually put Lomachenko up there on TV as being undefeated, like they was just going to erase the Orlando Salido loss. You know what I'm saying? They can try that with Spence, but his first loss came in a way that the person that he stepped in there with, it's no way you can ignore that. It's no way that you can ignore that. There's no way, bro. It don't matter if they acknowledge it or they look past it. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't matter. It's just like lipo. You can goddamn extract the fat out that bitch, but goddamn it, you continue to go to the buffet and eat crazy. That shit is gonna come right back as if that lipo never existed. Seriously. You can play around if you want to. You know what I'm saying? You can play around if you want. They're never going to play that Bud and Arrow fight on YouTube. It's not even Showtime. Speaking about the fight itself, right? If it took that long for those two to split the ropes, and the results ended the way it did, and the fish fry commenced, you know what I'm saying? And I still blame Crawford for this, for a little bit overdoing it, because he didn't have to have a parade where he was riding down the street with fishing boats, just letting the people, yes, you know what I'm saying? This is what I did. I caught the fish, and we've been having a fish fry ever since. I mean, that pretty much ended a fan base that was, on life support at that time. You know what I'm saying? They was on life support. And then the power that happened with Crawford beating Spence the way he did was just not the average defeat. That feat was so bad and lost so many people money, is that they don't even want to show the fight. They put it in the archives, deep in the archives, man. Lock and key with a passcode and biometrics to enter the vault to retrieve that. And the threats have been handed down. If anybody, put this fight on YouTube, you're not only fired, but you'll be over at Bohemian Grove. I'm serious, man. They threaten them, bro. They threaten them. How can you beat a fighter that was promoted, that was on one of the top tier networks at the time, Showtime? How can that fight not be accessible to the consumers who paid to see the T-Mobile Massacre play out? How does that work, people? You explain that to me. How? I like Spence, but once I seen the disrespect, I switched to supporting Bud. I couldn't, as a man, support Strawberry Spence over a consummate professional such as professional as Bud. Yeah, I mean, look, you can't blame the man for being enamored with strawberries with white and milk chocolate. You know what I'm saying? That's what he wanted. You can't be mad at a man who wanted to take milk baths and eat strawberries and everything. Come on, bro. He actually believed that a shark can walk up the hallway removed from his natural element and still survive. Whoever who was making these t-shirts, man, they were to blame too. The shit was all fucked up. You know goddamn well a fish cannot be in the hallway chilling and goddamn knocking on doors. I don't even care if it was animated or not. Just like that smoking bud pack, disaster. Because those individuals that bought that, they was able to see their Lord, their King, their Savior, their God be crucified July 29th of last year. Yes. Seeing him go down just like if a fish was actually smoking, the suffocation process. Oh man, it was bad. It was bad, y'all. It was bad, man. For real. You know what I'm saying? All the Crawford fans, all we wanted was for people to first of all respect, you know, the play. The Bud Crawford, he committed and dedicated himself to live the fighter's lifestyle. That's opposite of Spence, who chose to go out here and end up being in a very, very tough situation that residually is going to affect him for a while. On this side, we was talking about be courteous, you know, be appreciative. You know, Crawford was being a true professional, but that wasn't enough. You know what I'm saying? That wasn't enough. For real, that wasn't enough, because all the criticism, let me remind y'all of the criticism, okay? Let me remind you of some people that had criticism of Bud Crawford. His legs aren't the same as they used to be, okay? Because Bud is an older fighter, right? Fought B to C level fighters. So what he's been able to do till now won't work with Spence. Bud pulled back upon exit. 135 to 140, his legs did all the work. He's going to have to accept the fight. He's going to have, how do I want to phrase this? He's going to have to accept the fight that's coming from EJ. EJ isn't a flat-footed caveman like Crawford. He isn't stupid like Crawford. Seriously. Once again, EJ isn't a flat-footed caveman like Crawford. He isn't stupid like Crawford. Yeah. What EJ has good, the way he frames, is going to be an uphill battle for Crawford. This is all the criticism now. EJ's been training. TC's going to get an ass whooping. TC's going to have to fight EJ, fight, or vice versa. TC, best way is to get EJ out of there in 6 rounds. EJ gets stronger and stronger as the fight goes on, y'all. TC's going to have to replay Oh, okay. Hold up. He said, TC's going to have to stay ahead in the fight in order to win against EJ. TC is going to have to catch EJ cold. Lateral movement, controlling the distance, punch selection, and better speed is that of Terrence Crawford. When you talk about controlling space, TC does that. Fighting on the outside, TC has that. He can control the distance, control mid-range, jab to EJ. So that was some criticism of Bud and also some highlights, some pluses of freaking Spence. You know what I'm saying? I just wanted y'all to remember that. I mean, outside of all the audio that I have, you know what I'm saying, on the criticism that was there. For real. You know what I'm saying? All the excuses they made. Kell Brook known to struggle making weight. EJ's motto, never too high, never too low, just in the middle. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I'm just saying. EJ does well. Better jab, better chin. EJ fights better on the front foot than Bud. On the back foot, that's Crawford, mid-range, better speed, and lateral movement is TC. EJ lateral movement is non-existent. We've seen it. You know what I'm saying? He can do those things, maybe not better than Bud. Errol Spence is an African American slugger. I know we don't want to label him as such because of the black community, but he's a slugger. So what that person was saying is that, you know, EJ is a brawler. You know what I'm saying? He was going to bring the fight to Crawford. Real talk. And not to mention, you know, his meeting on $1 million worth of game. I took all these notes down, y'all. I took all these notes down. For real. I took all these notes. For real. He talks about, Wallow said PBC has the game on lock. That's what Wallow said now. Well, yeah, Wallow. You always doing the motivational speeches. I haven't seen you run out the shadows and freaking big up PBC yet and get them back on track. Let's talk about $1 million worth of games that was when the car accident time you thought I was never going to box again. 6 weeks in the hospital, told Al Heyman, you want to fight TC? And that's when Bud said, yeah, I want to fight him. Okay. EJ talks about how he left the hospital early and walking a flight of stairs after leaving the hospital. Gilly said EJ was in a car in the Olympics from tumbling. You know, he let Gilly get away with talking about, you know, and joking about his car accident, but that would have been me. He would have been having me remove my credentials taken. EJ used to go to the gym and watch the fighters train. This EJ saying this when he was recovering from the accident. He said he listened to Eric Thomas. You know, Eric Thomas is a motivational speaker. You know what I'm saying? He said no physical therapy, every 3 to 4 weeks, having oral surgery, because in the accident, you know what I'm saying, he knocked out his teeth. Not so much from him hitting himself in the vehicle, but he didn't have a seatbelt and he was ejected. And we all know what happened to that. American pavement is undefeated. Gilly said, I had to pay money because DSG lost to EJ. Wallow said EJ the biggest mofo to fight TC. EJ said he was going to spin the block. Gilly said EJ is the big fish, sell most tickets than TC. You know what I'm saying? Will mentally and physically break Bud down. Gilly said that Errol Spence has the size advantage. Told EJ he looks bigger. He looks stronger. They was feeding him all this freaking placebos. For real. They was feeding him so many placebos, man, and had him believing all this stuff. You know what I'm saying? He said, Wallow asked EJ, are you going for the KO? EJ, I'm going to break him down. That's what he said. Wallow asked for Spence top 5. Canelo, he said. Usyk, Mel Charlo, Tank, and then came Bud. See, that's one thing about these individuals that mention Bud's name. They usually don't go. They usually don't give you the natural response. Like, you know what I'm saying? When he didn't want to put Bud anywhere close to, you know, in the top 5, right? You know, he had to put him back in the back. And you know, when you put things in the shoebox or you hide it in the back of your drawer, that means you don't want to find it for a reason. You know what I'm saying? You don't want to find it for a reason. And in this case, he didn't want Crawford name to be mentioned so quickly in the top 5. He didn't want to see that. He didn't want that to happen. But he had to see it July 29, 2023. You know what I'm saying? They talk about how EJ kept telling Crawford he ain't fought nobody. You know what I'm saying? And TC responded, yeah, it reminds me of RJJ. They say he didn't fight nobody either. I just make him look like nobody. Every time I fight somebody, they have some negative to say after the fight. You know what I'm saying? That's fact. You know, that's fact. All this goes without saying, man. All this goes without saying. They try to say that Crawford, when you look at his welterweight roster, he fought all these guys when they was old, you know. But that's pretty much. I wasn't trying to go down no history. All I was doing is providing you with a live stream to remind you that we have 49 freaking days remaining. Yes, remaining for that fish fry. And the grease will be hot once again on that day. We will be partaking, indulging, gorging ourselves off fresh premium seafood. Yes, you gotta set the day aside. You still have some time. Just say you have to go to a very important event. Go to your best seafood restaurant and get a draft. If you drink that beer, get a draft. Seafood is, beer is good with seafood, man. Real talk. Especially an ice cold draft. Ooh, damn, shouty. And we must celebrate this day. And if you can, just take a picture and post it on YouTube. If you can, and say, I'm celebrating the 1-year anniversary of the T-Mobile Massacre. Please do that. Please put that out there. 1-year anniversary of the T-Mobile Massacre. So Omaha can know that, yeah, you're celebrating it from afar. Because that was one of the most spectacular beatdowns of a top pound for pound opponent in a long time. You know what I'm saying? He made him look like he wasn't supposed to be there. They wanted to call him nobody after the fact. But before that, he was everybody. He was everybody. He was like, oh man. He was hashtag man down, hashtag the boogeyman. You know what I'm saying? Hashtag the truth, hashtag strap season, hashtag big fish. If you have that many hashtags now, one of them got to be right. One of them hashtags has to be right. Unfortunately, due to his opponent being Terrence Bud Crawford, he came in there with an eraser. You know what I'm saying? He came in there with a shirt on to say, I delete what the fuck I want to. When you get a person that walk into the room, man, and they already have a flamethrower. I mean, come on now. They're not coming in there the freaking, sanitize the area. They come there to burn it down, man. To get rid of everything that's infectious for the wrong reason. 49 days into the 1-year anniversary, man. Make sure y'all celebrate that shit, man. Make sure y'all celebrate that. You know what I'm saying? Make sure y'all celebrate the 1-year reflection of the T-Mobile Massacre with seafood broils, fried shrimp, fish, anything that you can get to celebrate one of the best beatdowns in this era of boxing between 2 pound for pound fighters. Two pound for pound fighters, y'all. Shout out to the News by Shaw News Sauce Experience in the building. Man, great work, man. Team Tucker official on deck. Great work this weekend. Real talk. Shout out to your daughter, man. Shout out to them. Excellent work. Being taught by the best, man. You know what I'm saying? Excellent work you put in. You know what I'm saying? Tell her, man, them frames was clean and crisp, man. She can only get better from now. You know what I'm saying? If y'all didn't check it out, go check out his IG, man. His 11-year-old daughter was up there shooting a fight. You know why? You know, ESPN Top Rank. She was up there shooting a fight, man. That's big. That's big time. I'm celebrating. They can't hide no more. Nah, they can't. They can't. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Jahai for that win. But more so encompassing everything that was around it from the team and all that, and everybody that was doing the media. Shout out to y'all. Big time. You know what I'm saying? It's good to see black families progress where their kids listen to them. You know, and they got unlimited potential in being something very special when they start to grow up. And what, you know, you starting off this young, you're only going to improve now. You're only going to improve. But man, y'all make sure y'all stop by, and as we tick the you know, the days away, and we get closer and closer. Soon we're going to be on the eve of July 29th, which is a Monday. But yeah, absolutely, we're going to be pretty much celebrating on live somehow, some way that weekend before and on Monday of 2024. We will have a remembrance of this slaughter that happened in Las Vegas. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of crazy things that went down in Vegas. This is one of them. In a good way. This is one of them. Seriously, this was one of those times that we can say that we were a part of something special when it comes to boxing. You know what I'm saying? You had the mad scientist, Bomac, and then you had Terrence Bud Crawford. Them two together, come on now. When he told him, hey, it's time to change that jab into a hook, that's when he goddamn snagged that fish, and it was over. It was over. It was over. Most of the time when you catch a fish, they don't tell you to goddamn beat it to death. Yeah, sometimes a fish got blood on it from that hook being in his mouth and all that. But this was different. This fish right here was different. This fish was different to the point where we didn't even really know, you know, what type of fish it was once it was on the canvas in the boat. It was different. Real talk. But hey, shout out to y'all, man. Shout out to Omaha, Nebraska, for giving us this moment in time when it comes to boxing. Shout out to y'all, man, for doing your thing. And once again, man, shout out to Team Tucker for getting that victory and everything around with the team and all the media that went down from Shaw News. And also, if you didn't pay attention, you know, he had his brand out there all over ESPN for millions to see. Excellent, man. Excellent leadership. Real talk. I like shit like that. You know what I'm saying? Real talk. But y'all hold it down till next time, man. Shout out to the hottest chat in the MF game. I'm out. Peace.